Hello, can I speak to like somebody who can speak of government?
Yes, ma'am. How may I help you?
Do not call me man. I'm a man.
Well, I'm the president.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Political chaos led some
Whigs, Democrats,
Free Soilers,
and abolitionists
to form the
Republicans
Republican
were
Party.
against slavery in the West, and almost all Northerners were for the Republicans. There was an act called the Kansas-Nebraska Act that caused chaos between the Kansas and Nebraska territory, and it also caused tensions between the Whigs and the Democrats. So most Northerners supported the Republican Party, which was against slavery, but most of the Democrats, or all of the Democrats actually, supported slavery. And there was three parties at this time: the Know-Nothings, the Democrats, and the Republicans. And in the great election, they all chose one president. Millard Fillmore. I was the president chosen for the Know-Nothings, and we obviously didn't know anything. And we eventually lost in our party, and so, yeah, everybody knew we were going to lose. We were just in the middle, a bunch of people mixed together. James Buchanan. I served 20 years in Congress, and I was chosen by the Democrats, so I supported slavery. And everybody wanted me. I was wanted. And I don't care one bit about the Kansas-Nebraska Act. John C. Furman. I was chosen by the Republicans, and a lot of people thought we were going to lose. I knew the Democrats had much more, but one of the guys from the Southerners, they hated me because I was against slavery, and so one of them was like, "Oh, if John C. Furman wins, he's gonna like wreck our whole country." He thought I was gonna put like a spirit evil on their country or something, like a magic wand that just floats in the air and like spreads evil across the country. In the end, as we all might have predicted, the Democrats won. So it was James Buchanan that won. He won 14 out of 15 slave states and 5 free states. And the rest went to John C. Furman. Now, the Know-Nothings only won one state, and that was Maryland. But overall, the Democrats were declared winner, and the United States of America was good. Only 2 days after Buchanan became president, the Supreme Court issued a ruling that threw the country back into crisis.
The case of Dred Scott reached the Supreme Court, and the justices had 3 key issues. First, the court must decide on whether Scott was a citizen of the United States. This determines if he's able to sue the court. Second, the court must decide if the time he lived on free soil made him free. And then last but not at all least, the court had to decide whether the ban of slavery in parts of the Louisiana Purchase was constitutional. This one would affect the Missouri Compromise. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court was Roger B. Taney. See, my name is spelled Taney, but it's actually pronounced Taney. Like this. T-A-W-N-E-E. Say it with me. Taney. He came from a slaveholding family in Maryland. He wrote majority of the Dred Scott decision. He said that he founded of the founder of the nation believed that African Americans had no rights, which white men were bound to follow. And therefore, I conclude that African American citizens are not citizens of the United States, and thus Dred Scott does not have the right to sue the federal court. Then he said, his status as free slave depended on the laws of Missouri, and therefore I say that the Missouri Compromise restriction on slavery north of 3063 statute was unconstitutional. And then, using the Fifth Amendment as support, be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Now, slaves are property, as if we all knew that. They are property. We're white. And you cannot take that away from us. Therefore, Dred Scott is not a free man.
It happens to be the fact that slavery has been evolving more rapidly by the years. Tensions have been rising day by day. Conditions are worsening. Jobs become hopeless. A free black isn't free and isn't welcomed here in the United States. Black men, women, and children don't receive the rights stated in the Constitution. Without these debates in turn, we won't be able to see a colored person, the mighty fine one we have today, Barack Obama. We wouldn't be able to see any colored people, or even any ethnically different people here. America wouldn't actually live as stated. All men are created equal. Men now mean anyone who has a passport, of course. Are you? I'm the master of freedom. I'd like to start off these debates by saying slavery is wrong. It is unfair for the labor to work to its maximum limit and then be fed the lowest quantity possible, often unpaid. These whites should stop being fatties and they should start doing real work.
But sir, slavery is what runs half of our country. Slaves often stick to their owners because they have nowhere else to go, nowhere else to thrive, or to get jobs even when they are free. It's the culture of the United States as we know it today. Day by day, their need increases, and is increasing as we speak. White farmers need laborers to run this country, and without slaves, and without any other race working on the fields, the United States won't be much united anymore.
But the United States, as we know, it has changed over the years. The development of political sciences and advancements in technology that a place for slaves to be able to work. But we should give the slaves the right to do what they wish and they desire. Just like us whites.
Up north, slaves are treated like dirt. Not that I'm saying they're treated any better than themselves. Knowing this, slaves, or should I say Negroes in general, shouldn't be allowed to interfere in political matters.
I'm not saying they need to, but they are people like us, and once in a while they should be able to speak up to the government.
How do you want to stop the issue of slavery then? Okay, I'm here to say that slavery itself is okay, but its issues may be solved over time by the climate.
Climate?
Yes, bad weather and soil equals less slavery and farmers, and more political expansion of buildings and worthwhile locations. Slaves won't exist in an area that they are not needed, and for this reason, slavery should be allowed in an area where people need it.
Are you a descendant of Frederick Douglass? How can you say such a thing?
How dare you think such a way? Am I black? My last name has one S in it, not two. Besides, I'm a Democrat. That annoying Frederick is a Republican. You nincompoop.
You arrogant idiot! Why can't we just be like Mexico and abolish slavery?
Because our government does not run that way.
I don't care, make it run that way!
How?
Figure it out for yourself!
Okay, listen up. By the expansion of our lands, by popular sovereignty, and by the rights stated in the Declaration of Independence, we run as a country. We are not dumb. We are not selfless, governmentless, chili sauce smelling people. We are the Americans.
One of the methods of treating the slavery problem as a wrong is to make provision ensure that they shall not grow larger. Stopping the expansion of our lands may mean that goodwill spreading throughout the lands.
Try saying that to the southern United States, I won't be surprised to see you back in this debate as a Democrat with a bloody nose and a fire on your house. Are you crazy? Moving west is the ideal of this country. Expansion on the frontier is what drives us to obtain our land and make it better use.
Nobody here has the guts to do anything like that to my home. I have trained military, and I will slaughter their heads off.
Well,
Not that. I'm just thinking outside of that box. Besides, as stated in the Declaration of Independence, Negroes are entitled all natural rights such as those to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
it isn't our matter to try to figure out if our property, which are our slaves, are happy or not. They belong to whoever owns them, and based upon our recent studies, freed slaves generally don't have anywhere to go after their freedom, especially with all the racial bigotry pervading West. What are we to stop them? Whoever needs them uses them.
I'm the master of freed slave. You just follow my orders.
Yeah, right. Fine then, let's move on. What are your views on racial equality?
African Americans are not necessarily the political or social equals of whites. However, in the right to eat the bread which his own hand earns. He is my equal and the equal of Judge Douglas.
Okay, crowd, listen up. Whoever of you think that a Negro is your equal, go vote for Mr. Lincoln, of course. I'm not stopping you.
Oh man, I have a lot of supporters, yeah!
Well, this is quite interesting.
I have a question for you, Mr. Republican. What?
Is it true that Republicans want to make every state a free state?
Why, yes. Yes, it is.
Well, don't you think this might cause some warfare between the North and the South? And are we trying to solve this issue without warfare? Exactly. Especially due to the fact that popular sovereignty and the terms of the Dred Scott decision coexist with one another when...
How can Congress allow the citizens of a federal territory to understand slavery if Congress itself cannot ban it? Explain that to me.
It matters not what the Supreme Court decides about slavery. What matters is what people, the public out there, decide about this issue. The people have the lawful means to introduce it or exclude it as they please, for the reason that slavery cannot exist in any day or any hour anywhere unless it is supported by local police regulations. Ha!
Let's name this opinion of yours the Freeborn Doctrine. Our future works and debates will be based off this arrogant opinion. Thanks for your time, ugly nuts. Peace be with you. Help Douglas win first-class seats in the Senate. Lincoln, although the loss, became a well-known Republican figure.
That is the story of the fine debate
On slavery.
And I was a slave from an officer.
What are you?
Still like Democrats just
No,
won.
stop.
Which one won? 14 out of 15 slave states. One
No, dude.
annex, free states.
Are you? I'm the master of freaks.
I'd like to start first. It's right here. Okay, I'll start. I'd like to, yeah.